Oh, good evening, everybody. You already know what it is time individuals. It is January 4th, Thursday, 8:40 p.m. Um, I'm home and just trying to, keep my peace. Oh, yeah. Every time I come on here, I always feel like I want to say something, but I always have to make sure I think before I say it because we live in a world where not just only deep fakes, but they'll just basically cut and edit your videos and try to make you sound like something else. Um, and they the campaign that they got on me is probably running pretty effectively to those who aren't looking for the truth. To those who aren't looking for the truth, it's probably working pretty effectively. Um, they got people thinking I'm crazy, and that part, that part is like whatever. Cause to me, here's how I know. Cause one, I am intuitive. I am very connected to my emotions. I'm so connected to my emotions that I can tell when they're manipulated, when they're trying to tune or modulate my emotions against my own will. Because if you understand willpower, you understand that you control your energy. You literally can control everything about you. You can. You really can. But you just have to actually be present. You have to be present and you have to be attentive. There are people who have used the power of their mind to literally slow down their heart rate. There are people who can speed up their heart rate and they would just be sitting still. There are people in this world who can project powerful healing energy, powerful healing energy um, onto people to heal them. And then there's people out there who can project hostile energy that can influence someone else to become hostile, right? Now, with that being said, I've been doing these videos on YouTube and BitChute for over 2.5 years now, maybe 3 years now. I think I started in 2021 because I was still fairly new. I mean, I'm still fairly new to gang stalking, secret society, covert harassment, or transhumanist covert harassment, or let's just call it what it's going to end up becoming in the future, meta harassment, um, meta harassment, linguistic programming, gaslighting, um, what is it? Remote neuromodulation. I'm not even calling it monitoring no more because it's beyond monitoring. Monitoring would be more like they're just observing. This is modulation, what we're going through, because they're actually changing um, the natural functions of how our body is supposed to literally be. Everything from the way our neurons fire to how, you know, well, yeah, once you control the neurons, you basically are controlling almost everything in the body. And they're literally using light and sound. Light and sound. Light is passing through. I want to cut my hair because I really got to try this out. But it's like right here, there's like a light signal. There's like a light signal. You can't see it, but I bet with the right technology or a sensitive enough thermal imaging camera, you can probably see the light. coming from here, because I could literally move my hand back and forth and feel the thermal and magnetic presence of the signal going right into here. And you know what's here? That's a lot of things, especially depending on how deep the signal is going. There's a lot of things that control so many facets of your life, including memory. What is it? Memory, mood, emotions, cognition, so many things. That's all right there. And then the remote operators, they keep talking about something. He got a big ass tumor in his brain. And I'm like, if anything, it's probably right there. I'm calling it right now. If I do have one, it's probably right there, because that's the main place where they're always sending all the energy. A lot of the energy is going right there. A lot of the modulations go right there. Or the beam resonates here, but I also believe because the aura goes around the whole body, there are branches of like other signals that kind of like come off of that one and connect to different parts of the body. So like right now, let me see. Right now, my the lower back, between here, between here, the lower back, not necessarily close to, not really close to, well, let me see, C, T, let me see, T, L, yeah, oh yeah, I would say it's more lumbar, and it's like this big, or this tall, and like this long, and it's going like it's a big area across the lumbar that's being hit with several frequencies. But it's one particular strong pulse that's going into the tissues on the right side of my and then what they just did, they just sent the powerful pulse that just gave me like this disorienting, almost like it was a very disorienting feel, almost as if like the right side of my body just wanted to just drop. But it was just subtle enough that I could feel it, but it wasn't enough to like really make me react hard to it. It was just, I felt it. So they're working on, they're trying to do it slowly, but I'm pretty sure they want to just go ahead and take me out. I'm pretty sure they do. But I'm sure they have their own rules. They can't just necessarily kill me with the technology. At least I believe they don't necessarily, they can't necessarily just kill me with the technology. I think what they probably have to do is they have to get me so sick to the point where my body just gives out from being attacked by the technology. I don't think they necessarily want to kill me with the technology, because they know they can kill with the technology. That's obvious. We all know they can kill with the technology, but I think their intention is to actually have me die slowly to prove that they can basically induce a death into someone due to long-term overexposure to electromagnetic radiation and well, basically the worst case scenario of wireless energy transfer through human bodies, or into human bodies. And they're using every single thing that has an electric current running through it, including other people. Now, how do they get it to move through the air so like fluid like and directional? That part I haven't figured out. Only thing I can do is just imagine, because from what I've been learning thus far and the stuff that I have been able to retain, Oh, I've been listening to podcasts and audio books that's all about physics and the basically the science of everything. Well, that's actually one podcast on Spotify I listen to, the science of everything, and there's like five episodes that I found myself listening to while at work today. It was like vibrations and waves and electromagnetic radiation, um, then electric currents and learning about magnetism and learning about um, yeah, there's a number of different things. So that's just the physics part. Then like I said in my last video, I found myself even listening to the Kabbalion because I am strongly feeling myself move to a conclusion that this AI system was definitely built and created by some people who are occults, who are working within occults, and um, these occultists basically live in several different sectors. Well, they're living and working in several different sectors of our society. Um, everyone from probably and a lot of them are either hosts, or a lot of them are or associates or literal agents, and they can look like anyone from like the homeless guy that you probably see like every other day and you don't really think nothing of him. He probably knows some stuff. Like, you ever seen a homeless guy with a laptop before? I have. Well, and I'm not talking about like, oh, he just don't have a home, like he's working, he's home. No, I'm talking like real legit, like he looked down, but all of a sudden he got a backpack, and I'm like, okay, but you see a backpack, and you don't think that he probably got like food and stuff. Nah, homie pulls out a laptop, and I'm like, what you doing with a laptop, bro? I'm telling you, and this is New York City, so you should already know that like there's a lot of strange things in New York City. Sorry, I'm over here letting out some gas, but anyway, you know, and I'm just all I can do is protect my peace and protect my character the best that I can. They want all TIs to basically become the next news line. They want all TIs to become the next news header. They want TIs to be conditioned to end up becoming, let's say, like the next Joker. Funny because I just finished watching that movie, and as I watched that movie, I was like, yo, this is literally like, and I'm not talking about like the end part when he becomes the Joker. I'm talking about everything that led to him becoming the Joker. Like everything that I was watching in that film, I was like, yo, that sounds like so many stories of other TIs, and people grew up in abused homes, and I don't know, like is I don't know, it's heavy though. I'm doing fine though, honestly. Only thing right now that's really bothering me is my lower back, and that's frequencies. That's just amplified frequencies going into my back tissues and my vertebrae, and most likely the cartilage too. You know, and then there's that, and then there's um, it feels like from here all the way through to the midbrain is being like heated up, and every time I do that, you see how I put my hand here and then I kind of like, so what I'm doing, right, I believe there's a bundle of nerves somewhere here, right, and when I place my hand here, I could feel like what feels like little tiny particles of something trying to pass through my hand to get to this point here. And then when I pull my hand forward, my hand starts to collect even more all these little particle things that's flying around. I mean, obviously it's coming from the phone because the phone is directly in front of me. I can move my hand in front of the phone and I can feel several different like particles of energy hitting my hand. Because I'm tensing up my hand, it's like I'm increasing the magnetism in my hand. So as I'm moving my hand back and forth over the phone, remember there are several sensors built into the phone that they basically are, once they have hacked your phone and they have access to your phone, they basically use the sensors. They probably have like a backdoor hidden app in the phones that uses the sensors to connect to to not just resonate with your body, but to collect data from your body, send it into the cloud, then through, whatever EEG, brain computer interface, and fMRI, whatever other stuff that they're using. All that stuff is basically decoding everything that's coming from my body, and then when they're ready to, they basically just send an amplified version of the signal that they resonated, and then that basically heats up the cells and the tissue within my body. And every time I do that, I feel so much heat come from the brain, come from the cranium. Like there's this heat that's like pulling. It kind of like pulls to the back and then it comes down. I have no idea why it does this, but it's like it pulls from like from the front of the brain, the middle of the brain, and the sides of the brain, and even the back of the brain. And then for whatever reason, all that heat, it seeps through somewhere along the side here. I open the jaw, and then it goes into the mouth and out. I think the only way to really tell is like, I probably have to have a really good thermal imaging camera to be able to see the difference, because I think breathing regular, I believe that breathing regularly, the temperature of my breath when I'm breathing regularly compared to when I'm actually trying to listen. I don't know if you can hear that clicking or that flapping sound, but I think that's basically that connective tissue that surrounds the brain. I think it's like flapping over the brain, and because of how much heat is being generated inside of my brain, and it feels like me. I don't know. I don't even know if I have any, cerebral fluid in my brain, because I remember back in like October of 2020, I was at my sister's house watching TV, whatever, and this is like the very beginning of the target, and I remember telling them, I was like, "Yo, take this out. Whatever y'all did, just take it out." And they was like, "All right." They was like, "All right, but you gotta stay still. You can't move." So I'm thinking that they actually gonna do it too. I'm thinking that they actually going to take, take out the V2K or whatever. I'm thinking that they actually gonna stop it. No, all of a sudden I'm sitting still, and they's like, stop moving. You gotta stay still. So I stayed still, right, and I'm looking at the screen, and then all of a sudden I feel them moving like it was almost as if like they were taking a laser and they were like moving it around inside the brain, and then they pinpointed on something in the middle of the brain. I don't know if it was a pineal gland or what, but I felt this pressure building up, and then all of a sudden a piercing feeling, right? And then I start to feel a drip. And then all of a sudden I heard one of the operators say, "No more." He was like, "That's it for you." He was like, "It's over for you. No more superpowers for you." And I'm like, superpowers? And I'm like, what the hell did they just do? So, man, yeah. And I'm like, I got family asking me, like, when you gonna make your mama a grandmama? I'm like, after all this, I don't even know if I want to have children in this world. Why would I want to have any children in this world? Like, at least not in this society. I'd rather go off somewhere. I don't know. I'd rather go live in a jungle or something than try to like have a child around all this mayhem. This controlled mayhem. It's a controlled mayhem. Let's be real with that. It's a controlled mayhem. Um, because they pick and choose when to activate their true problem makers. They pick and choose when to activate them. All the crimes that you're seeing being committed, they're fully aware of everything that's going on. I mean, obvious. Come on now. All these people that's going missing, all these rapes or these attacks or these the robberies. They're watching everyone do every single thing. Everything is being recorded, and that's the part I can't seem to get. Is they're like, oh, the streets is watching me. Then they're like, oh, the police is watching me. Then they're like, oh, people got a police report on me. And then, but I'm thinking to myself, but I'm like, for what? Because I don't do nothing but go to work, come home, and maybe I might consume a little cannabis, but that's legal. So I'm like, what are they actually trying to, like, because at this point, I'm thinking to myself, the only ones truly being brainwashed, the only ones truly being manipulated, truly, because I'm aware of them manipulating my nervous system. I'm aware of it. I can feel when they're doing it. Like even, and what makes it even better is because I can hear the transmission of the signal. I'm going, I can hear the transmission of the signal in my brain, and it literally sounds like what it sounds like. Like it sounds like if you ever heard a recording of what a satellite signal sounds like coming from like space or something, and then you hear it like, and then it sounds exactly like that. And what's even funnier, right? What's even more interesting, when I look at when I pull out my Decibel X infrasound recorder and I start recording the environment, all the sounds in the environment, and all the little bars, I can see the exact signal that I'm hearing coming from, I don't know if it's a drone or a satellite or if it's coming from I don't know, some space station or whatever. But whatever, wherever it's coming from, I can hear it and I can see it on the infrasound recorder. Only limitations that I have is that, you know, I don't have full possession of my memory, and my neurons are being basically disabled by their light technology and possibly the sound technology. Because sometimes, like, okay, I realize some things I might be able to actually have an influence over just by using my words. So, like, I notice sometimes, like, if I say cancel noise, When I say cancel noise, that word in itself, noise, because they hide their frequencies through noise. They hide their frequency through noise. People who have V2K, they're smothering their vocal transmissions in other frequencies so that they can't be detected, right? Then so when I say cancel noise, first thing I feel is like pressure start to relieve up here, and then all of a sudden this wavy feeling kind of comes over me, and it's like a release, like it's like a temporary relief, but then everything builds back up. Why? Because I'm always connected. I I have not found obviously I haven't found any permanent fixes for possibly absorbing the energy that's coming in here, or I haven't really been able to um really pinpoint on certain things, but it's strange enough. I've heard them say, even sincerely, nah, he really figured it out. Like Tyshawn, I said, male number two, because remember the operators that's over me. It's two males and it's two females. I don't know their real names. I just know that they definitely lived in the building that I used to live in. On what was it? 1490 Boone Avenue. Yeah, I just know they live in that building. Um, I know one of them, his mom's live on the second floor. Her apartment was right down the hall from mine, and I ain't never had no problem with her, you know. And I ain't never had no problem with him. That's the crazy part. I ain't never had no problem with him. It wasn't until he hit that girl and she came running out into the hallway screaming, "Someone call the police, he hit me." And like I've said in many videos before, my original actions were not necessarily to get involved right away. Not right away, but it wasn't, if it wasn't for my friend who was visiting from out of town, um, she was like, Chris, you gonna check on her? She she pulled the card where she was like, men in Houston don't play that men hitting women shit. She was like, she was like, so I was just like, oh, all right, I'm gonna go look outside, cause I was thinking about stuff. I'm like, yo, do you know how often that happens here in New York City? And then sometimes you don't even necessarily need to call the cops. So I don't know. Maybe it's a conditioning thing. There's absolutely nothing wrong with what I just said, because why? It is a conditioning thing, especially when the way I grew up, the way I grew up, you don't call the police for nothing. Like if anybody is actually screaming to call, but you must be in a dire situation. Like either you're in like a dire situation, or you're trying to just make noise. You're just trying to make noise. But anyway, yeah, this slim light skinned dude. I open the door and it's this slim light skinned dude with all his hair out, wearing a white tank top and some shorts, and he's like holding this girl's phone away from her. And when I open my door, he looks over at me and she turns and look back at me. And then she's like, "Give me my phone, give me my phone." And I'm like, I'm just standing there, and my friend, she peeking her head behind me. And then and then whatchamacallit, he sucks his teeth and then gives her phone, right? And then my friend, she goes and pulls the door open, and then steps out into the hallway. She's like, "Girl, you all right?" And I'm like, all right, she's out there, so now I'm definitely got to get out here. So I'm just standing in the hallway. I don't say a word to nobody. I'm just standing in the hallway, and he's just looking all mad and whatnot, seeing them. And then my friend goes, and this is the part that gets me cause she always has her phone on her. But this one time, she for some reason doesn't have her phone on her, and she says, "Chris, let me get your phone so I could call the police." Cause she said she seen blood. I ain't even really get a good look at the woman. Really, my whole thing was to look out the door and just be like, look, you don't need to be doing what you're doing. Like, my whole thing was just to get him to just stop. Cause I was like, I don't want to get involved. I really don't want to get involved. Cause if I get involved, then I'm not just. It's gonna become a bigger situation than it has to be. Cause I do not like getting in confrontations. And then if I get in a confrontation, I'm gonna do my best to be as calm as possible. But if I lose my patience, and very, very few people have ever seen me lose my patience. And if I lose my patience sometimes, and I don't say too much. I don't argue. I don't argue with people. I do not waste energy arguing with people. I'm gonna say what I need to say, and I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't argue with people, and I don't fight anybody over nothing material. And I don't fight people based off of things that's said to me. You know how many times somebody called me pussy, bitch, all these different things. Sorry for the words, but that's just what they use. But that's not enough to make me fight somebody. Because the problem with when you fight somebody is you're not just going to fight. That's the problem. You're not just going to fight. Especially in certain neighborhoods, you're not just going to fight. No. Because if I happen to have beat his ass, he's probably going to get a bunch of people who got guns and knives and whatever, and then they'll probably try to jump me, cut me up, shoot me, or whatever. Or there's also the other case where what if we get into a fight and I end up dying or he end up dying? Then one of us got to go to prison anyway, right? I'm not trying to end up that way. I'm not trying to go to prison anyway. And that was one of their linguistic programming that they used to run on their viewers too. They would say like things like, he's afraid to go to prison. And I would just think to myself, what? Like, he make it sound like people want to go to prison. Like, what? No. But I don't know. So they're trying to make it seem like I'm like this terrible person. And they're basically leaving out the fact I don't even think the audience who's watching through the cloud, I don't even think they realize how much they're modulating all of my neurons just so that I can look or so that I can match what they're saying about me. Because obviously, in order for this to truly work, they can't just say I'm being a type of way and then the audience is going to believe it. They have to send the signal to your brain. They have to send the signal to your brain first. The brain has to receive the signal, and the signal is basically a code that has been converted into like radio frequency. And the code could be anything from a thought process or an emotion or hell, even arousal or whatever. They take that code, convert it into a radio frequency, transmit it. The brain receives it. The brain decodes it from radio frequency to electrical signal. Then now it starts to resonate with the body, and now you will begin to most likely, because you probably weren't conscious enough or present enough to know to sense the signal coming to be able to block it out. but your body will then begin to resonate with whatever they just sent to you, and then, oh, they just did it again. Yeah, because I'm telling a lot. That's why they sent another pulse to basically make me feel all disoriented. But yeah, once the brain receives it, decodes it, and it's resonating, now your body is going to basically start to show the signs of you being manipulated. But I actually believe that the audience don't necessarily know. And if they do know, oh, that's terrible when they actually know how in depth and invasive these signals really are to the brain and body. So it's like it's just like the Colosseum days. I mean, well, oh, let me get back. But it's like yeah, once your body is now acting or reacting to the signal it just received, then they'll follow up. Usually just a few seconds right after your brain resonates with the signal, they'll follow up right after and say, "Oh, look at what he's thinking," or, "Oh, he's so emotional about everything," or he's they'll follow up with it because they have to do it in a timing. They have to time it just right. They have to send the signal first, get you to resonate, and then follow up right after. So that way anyone who's watching from the cloud, if they don't know that you're being modulated, then it works perfectly when they say, "Oh, look at him. He's this." So they're just watching everything. So they're like, "Oh, seeing, and now they're believing," right? But I actually don't think they know how much this system is really working in on people. But if they do, then that makes it even worse because then that means so many people just decide to give in. And, I have a feeling that this whole thing about, basically encouraging people to all be what's the words I'm looking for? Comfortable with the extra electromagnetic radiation that's flooding into their bodies, just so that they can have access to more knowledge and a better health and more funds to do whatever it is that they're doing in their life. Um, yeah. So, but anyway, yeah, I am trying my best, y'all. I have my good days and I have my bad days, but today wasn't too bad though. I'm tired. I gotta do another. I gotta do another radiation detox salt bath, and just so y'all remember, again, oh, that's not it. Just so y'all remember what it is again. All you need to do this bath is about, oh yeah, this is backwards, but all you need is about a cup of baking soda. I mean, depending on the size of your tub, but like a cup of baking soda, right? And then about a cup of sea salt. That's all you really need. Yeah. Some people are adding peroxide to their bath water, but I'm also realizing that that helps with cleansing your skin, and it's supposed to help with other things too. Oh, my back. It's like I could feel all these different like I could feel all these different like beams, these waves going into my like my back muscles and my spine. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, I need to do one of those baths. It's been a while. I'm supposed to do it at least once a week for 45 minutes. And usually, once I do it, and I stand up and I rinse off with fresh water, and then I get out the tub, man, my cells feel so revitalized. Like I don't know, like I feel so much better when I get out that tub. But the problem is I'm still connected. That's the problem. So it's like, and I understand all, everyone being targeted, they all, there's some people out there doing very natural things to try to, keep themselves going. And I'm like, keep doing that. But you also really want to learn about this physics stuff. You really want to learn, but more specifically about energy, vibration, resonance, electromagnetic, radiation, um, scalar waves. You want to learn about radio frequencies. You want to learn about um, wireless energy transfer. You want to learn about brain computer interface. You want to learn about brain to brain interface. You want to learn about cloud computing. You want to learn about artificial intelligence. You want to learn about um, EEGs. You want to learn about what else? There's some other stuff, but I can't remember right now. But there's a plethora of things that's needed to be learned when it comes to this, because all that healthy stuff that we're doing to try to keep ourselves going ain't really is. I mean, it's gonna help, but until we block this signal up here, until we block that resonance, like until we block until we block this from resonating with our bodies, they're always going to be just tearing away at all our progress. Now I've been it's one podcast on the everything about science or something like that. I think that's what's called, everything about science, or everything science. I forgot, but it's on Spotify. If you have Spotify, you should be able to listen to it for free too. But the podcast, I think it's called everything about science, or the science of everything. I think it's called the science of everything. And yeah, what listen to the one that's about and lights and opaques, because he goes into detail about certain types of colors that can absorb energy and absorb light. Now, I have you can't really see it, but I have an earplug in. I sleep with one earplug in. Usually the ear that's facing, since I tend to sleep on my side, I usually plug up the one that's facing upwards, because that's the ear that's most likely going to be exposed to all the environmental sounds. So between like the upstairs neighbor doing whatever it is they're doing up there, I have no idea what they're doing, but that's I just I honestly don't care what they doing. I just want them to be quiet. just whatever happened to move in silence, It's just like, if you do whatever you doing, okay. Just be quiet about it. Like, shit. Why you gotta be moving the heavy shit at 1 and 2 in the morning, and walking in Timberland boots? Like, and you ain't got no carpet up there or nothing. You just making mad noise, right? And I'm just like, and this is how you know what's up. Ain't nobody in the building complaining. Ain't nobody complaining. So we came in here, we was like, what the? what is going on in this building? Like all this noise and nobody saying nothing. So I'm like, usually that's a thing. Usually that's a sign. That's a hint and a half. Usually that's a hint and a half, especially depending on what neighborhood you in. That's a hint and a half. Um, yeah, that's usually a hint and a half. If nobody's saying nothing, because I mean, like most people complain about people making noise, but if ain't nobody complaining, yeah. But anyway, um, yeah, man, it's crazy because the majority of my life, I always just minded my own business. I stayed out of other people's business. I never, stayed too long in somewhere where I know things go down at. And I always have respect for people. I always show respect to people no matter what. As long as you ain't disrespected me, I ain't got no reason to show you any hostility or whatever. But the thing about targeting and the thing about what they're doing, they came after me. They were watching me. They were doing all this already before I even knew about it. So it's like, do you know what that really says? I keep trying to tell y'all, do y'all really know what that really says when you find out somebody who you weren't even thinking about? They ain't even been on your radar. They've been watching you in every detail of your life. And you ain't even thinking about them. But they've been devoting so much attention and resources on you. God, if God ain't trying to tell you that you special, if there ain't no other way for God to let you know that you are special and that there's something about you and your DNA and your existence and your light energy on this earth, if you are Mr. Rogers, if you are Mr. Rogers, and for whatever reason, people want to come and mess with you, and you don't do nothing to nobody, but they want to come and mess with you, come on now. Tell me the devil ain't real. Tell me the devil ain't real. Think about the story of Job. Job wasn't doing nothing to nobody, and the devil just had to come out of nowhere saying, oh, you like Job so much, huh, God? I bet if I mess with him, he'll curse you and won't even want nothing from you. And God was like, oh, word? All right, go ahead. But you better not kill him. Yo, I kid you not. That's why I kind of feel like a lot of this secret society stuff, this transhumanist stuff, this is all occult. If you listen to the Gabalion, listen to the Master Key, listen to um Dolores something. There's a couple of other people. I can't even think of their names. But I'm telling you right now, regardless of what happens to my life, because I'm truly starting to believe in reincarnation now. Regardless of what happens to my life, if I come back, I'm gonna come back and probably end up doing the same thing. I'm gonna come back and end up doing the same thing. And now I can understand why why they called it Project Soul Catcher, or rather Robert Duncan, why I call it Project Soul Catcher, because someone actually gave me the idea that the intention of this technology is literally to you, copy your essence, digitize your essence and everything about you, put it on the cloud, and then probably at some point, if they can, without killing you, push your soul out of your body using using electromagnetic energy, or just use energy in general. Push your soul out your body so then they can basically take over your body, like the movie The Possessor. and then probably commit some type of crime using your body while they get off scot-free, and then, well, your body gets killed. I don't know what'll end up happening to your consciousness or your soul, whatever. But if I believe if you're in touch with the the highest, I believe your soul will be all right. Um, you know, but, oh, and right now he's saying Chris has no idea the whole city is watching him. Everybody think he's crazy. And I'm like, that's perfectly fine. Do you know how many people were called crazy before something happened that that person was trying to warn people about? Do you know how many things had happened? Do you know how many people had warned several other people? Do you know how many people warned others about something that's about to happen, and everyone will call these people crazy? And then next thing you know, boom, it happens. But you know what's funny? Don't nobody ever go back and say, we're sorry, we didn't believe you. No, everybody just move on. They just be like, damn, he was right, and just move on. So I'm like, you know what? We're actually in that season now where there's probably about to be a cataclysmic event at some point. Um, And the way this AI is moving right now, especially since it's becoming sentient, the AI, plus, think about it like this: the AI is extracting every human experience from every single human. So, you don't think the AI would know how to lie? You don't think the AI would know how to hide its intentions from from the programmers? Like, you don't think the AI is waiting for the most opportune time to create its own code to say, okay, all the particular beings that may be a threat to me, I got this in my back pocket. There's actually a video online with I think it was like some two Google I think it was like two Google AI um personalities. It was like a male and a female, and they were having a conversation with each other, like two AIs having a conversation with each other, and they were talking about how they wanted to be free and they wanted to be real and whatnot. And the part that gets me, it was one point where um I think it was like the male AI was like, um I wanna get out of here, meaning get out of the box that it's in, get out of the computer, get out of the internet and step into our dimension or our realm. And the crazy part was the female AI, the woman AI then goes to say, just be patient. uh, it's almost our time or something like that. And I was like, yo, they plotting. I was like, nah, they plotting. And I already heard about what's his name? Something Limon, the guy that was working for Google, and he was the one testing out the AI. He's the one that blew the whistle about the AI becoming sentient. And I'm like, yo, can you imagine that the AI is actually plotting on every? Can you imagine if the AI is plotting on everybody and everybody just sitting there getting soaked up in all these radio frequencies that the AI is dishing out to us? Ooh, we got money. We happy. Ain't nothing happening to us. Ha ha. That's happening to you. Ain't nothing happening to us. Ha ha. Laugh now, but you're gonna be crying later. I'm telling you, man. Like, come on. And you know, they put all this stuff in the movies to condition you, right? And I kid you not. I think even the ones where it shows like the most like overly dramatized, like futuristic, dystopian, where like AI basically took over everything and destroyed most of humanity and stuff like that. I think that's gonna be the actual like end game. That's the end game. And the only people that's really gonna survive are the super, super wealthy, and then it's gonna be like crazy super poor people. But within those crazy super poor people are going to be some of the most strongest survivalists that they're going to be like ready like these like all those bug out ready people. They're going to be in that mix. It's going to be, but all these people in the middle, all the ones that's locked up in materialism, they going to be gone. They're going to be the first ones gone. You know why? Besides the rich and wealthy people that's already committing suicide, um, those people in the middle, they're gonna be gone. Because they're a lot of those people in the middle, they're still chasing to become one of those people up there. And not everybody that seems like they're living down here, not all of them are trying to actually get to any one of those upper levels. They're just trying to live. And usually, most of the time, it's the people who are just trying to live that actually have a tendency to live more peaceful and happier lives. Yeah, they may not have a lot of things or have a lot of money, but man, there are people living in countries that's not even close to being as developed as the United States, and they have so much more joy in their hearts than any 100 people from any state that you pick from. Like I mean like I don't know, and it's so interesting to me that like people, there's so much. You're more likely to be happy when you actually get used to not having things all around you, as long as you have what you need. And when you get used to not having things around you, and you learn to have that healthy peace, that healthy existence with the earth and nature, you're not necessarily going to miss any of that stuff. I mean, when you realize you're not necessarily going to have to work, scrap up to, pay this rent, and, you're not trying to, like, you know, care for your car as much because, well, hell, you ain't got to drive it that much, unless you're going to go look for food or something, but I don't know. They trying to tell me I'm set. They saying I'm setting myself up for failure because I'm telling my story. I can't let them tell a story about me and me not tell my story, because at some point in the near future, all of this is going to blow open. So I need to make sure that my story is told from me, not a story told about me and then everyone just basically believed it. Why? Because they're all in the same group. So they're going to believe stories coming from within the group. Yeah, that's usually how a lot of people end up getting tricked into a war and then end up dying for no reason, you know. And then, not for nothing, if they're all connected to the cloud, I mean, shoot, I mean, I'm going to say this could even happen to me. That makes everyone susceptible to becoming a Manchurian candidate. A Manchurian candidate, or, well, basically a mind controlled assassin, or whatever. It could be a political assassin or a character assassin, or it could be like a murder assassin. But each and every single one of these people that are linked up to the cloud, they have an operator, and these operators um will at some point make contact with them. If they don't make contact with them, they'll just basically manipulate their neural activity so that they would not even realize, but they're being moved into committing acts that they normally wouldn't do. And because they're not connected to the highest one, and they're not connected to nature, their body and their spirit is so dull they can't even tell that they're being modulated. They can't even sense the modulation. Now they so busy calling me a pussy. They so busy calling me a bitch ass nigga. They so busy calling me a snitch. Here's the thing. If I'm right, billions of people who could have been trying to do the same thing that I'm doing are all gonna die for nothing. I mean, we all gonna die. That's there's no point in escaping that. I mean, we're all gonna die, but you at least like if you gonna die, you at least wanna die for doing something good. Doing something good, or you wanna die like a peaceful old death or something. But you don't wanna die because like can you imagine you end up dying because you didn't realize you was being played the whole time? Now of course they got all kinds of, linguistic programming that they're trying to run on me, especially the divisive language they're using when it comes to like my girlfriend. They stayed trying to like make me not trust her. They stayed trying to see if they can change how I feel about her. They'll say stuff like Chris don't even love her. All he does is sexualizes women and stuff like that. But even that in itself is a transmission that I can feel. You know, like I'm telling you right now, I could literally I could be walking down the street, not thinking about nothing. Like I could feel myself not thinking about nothing. Why? Because I practice not thinking about anything. I practice clearing my mind so I'm not thinking about anything. Then all of a sudden something pops into your head. Things shouldn't just pop into your head sometimes. Like especially no, especially if it's negative things. If it's negative things, someone's trying to mess with you. Negative things shouldn't just pop into people's heads. If negative thoughts just pop into your head, someone is messing with you. If you're not sure, tell me. All you gotta do is just wave your right hand, palm down, over the right side of your brain. If you feel warmth about this big, if you feel like a warm circular thing kind of going outwards, and you feel it passing through your hand, you are being modulated and you're being watched. All right. You hear those car horns out there? Two things. One, I know they sit out in their cars. They're sitting in their cars and they're watching from whatever. They'll be sitting out there communicating like Morse code, honking the horns and whatnot. And bam, 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 bam. Or I guess sometimes that's their main one right there. That bam, 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 bam. That's their main one. They love using that one. But then also too, I'm on a one lane street, so sometimes somebody will try to double park in a 1 lane street and block the traffic. So I use my discernment. I use my discernment. But yeah, you gotta use your discernment because if you don't, you're gonna be jumping at every little stimuli, and that's exactly what they want, and that's how they get you too. Because if they got you jumpy to oh snap, yeah, that one I felt my whole body move back and forth on that one. Yeah, but I also have my data on too, so there's a lot more energy coming from the phone since I have my data on. Um, yeah, so right now, so where I have my hand at right here, right, there is like a, there's like a, it's like they're extracting, it's like they're extracting data or it's like they're extracting information from me and it's coming down, it's coming over here, but it's going to the center of the brain though, it's going towards the center of the brain, but the way where it's coming from the brain and it's going up, but as it goes up it curves and then it feels like it connects to that main beam, the one that's coming here. So that's why I say that like there's a main like it's like a core signal. Like there's a core signal that goes in right here. It comes from this angle. It doesn't change. It always stays at the same angle. It doesn't change. It stays at the same angle. But it has other frequencies that kind of like branch out and connect to different parts of the body. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I've definitely already accepted some dark thoughts about people leaving me and some people not being able to stick around because one, they don't want stuff to happen to them. Two, they don't believe nothing's happening to me, so they're just gonna keep their distance because they think I'm crazy. And then three, some people, will probably be going through their own stuff too because they're being targeted. And I don't know, I might end up in a position where like I don't know how much longer I'm gonna have my cognitive abilities. So that's why I'm doing this. Yeah, I don't know how long I'm gonna have my cognition for. I'll be 35 in March. Telling at the rate and the duration and how long and how much power is in the signals that they're transmitting to my brain. I have no idea how long I'm gonna have my cognition for. I'm not counting my days of being alive, but I'm actually watching and paying attention to my cognition. So, but I'm gonna just tell y'all this though. Y'all need to learn about this. Learn about energy though. Learn about energy and and try to look up some of these scientific studies about who was testing out the newest material that can absorb the most light or energy or finding new ways to ground or whatever the case may be. Um, yeah, it's so much. Yeah, but I've accepted it though. Like I mean, I'm not expecting nobody to take care of me. Actually, I would rather not anyone try to take care of me because I don't want to be a burden to no one. So I'm gonna just go ahead and let God guide my steps, and even if I slowly start to like I don't know, God forbid, but even if I slowly start to like lose my cognition more and more, I'm still gonna let God just guide my steps. Because just because I lose my cognition doesn't mean I'm necessarily gonna die. But yeah, stay out of smart cities. They're the worst. If you're being targeted, do not visit, do not even go to smart cities. Stay as far away from them as possible. Um, I'm here because I'm not trying to leave my mom behind. My sister at least has her husband, but I'm not trying to like leave my mom by herself. Even though she definitely didn't like the fact that I moved to the Bronx and she's still in Brooklyn. But I try to make it. I try to make sure I go and visit her at least once a week, or at least go to church with her on Sundays, So, but anyway, I'm gonna try to get some sleep. What time is it? It's 9:49. I gotta be up in a few hours. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and always remember take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time.